3. You're live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar about Azure Open AI with a focus on local and regional government. Most probably, and what brings you into the call is you're all very well aware of the hype around the recent developments. So the purpose of this call is to share with you a little bit more about what the technology can do for you, how it can help your organizations, and hopefully what you will hear from me and my colleagues that I have on the call will be exciting enough to tease your brains and take further actions. In a classic fashion on what's happening in lots of the live events, we have some technical difficulties. So let me start sharing my screen, and hopefully you can see that. If any of my colleagues wants to come off mute and say if you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, all good. We can see the content.
Perfect. So what will be the agenda that we have with all of you today? And Pablo, may I ask, is the call recorded, please?
Yeah, it should be. Depends on how you set the call, but it should be.
Excellent. So what we have for you is we will start, as I said, with a big warm welcome for all of you and some introductions, because it's not just me on the call. Then my colleague Jazz will cover, will give you a high-level overview of what is Azure Open AI and the different capabilities that the service has. Then my colleague Burak will bring it to life for you and will demo live for you what can Azure Open AI do, but also touch on the topic of responsible AI. We talking to government bodies like you, obviously responsible AI and responsible use of it is something that you have top of mind from the conversations that I had with several of you already. And then we will start wrapping up with myself. I will finish by giving you some real-life example and use cases that we see getting momentum with local regional government. We will focus primarily on contact centers and document process automation. So that will make it a little bit more relevant with your day-to-day. And my colleague Jazz then will wrap up. Thank you all and give you some suggested next steps. So who do you have on the call? Today, as I said, I'm happy to be one of your hosts today. My name is Stelios and I'm a data and AI specialist. And I have with me Jazz, who is also a data and AI specialist, and Burak, who is working as a cloud solution specialist. So hopefully this sounds like a good agenda for all of you. Nothing more from me for now. Jazz, over to you. Either take control, or I'm happy to click next slides if you want.
Yeah, could you keep control, please? So thank you, Stelios, so much for the warm welcome. And I'm really excited today to be speaking to you all around artificial intelligence. So to start off with, I'd like to give you a bit of a brief history around artificial intelligence and how we've ended up in the position we're in today. So artificial intelligence has a really long and storied history that spans many decades. Some of the earliest work in AI was actually done in the 1950s and 1960s, which is crazy to think because that was so long ago. And we think AI is only something that's coming now. So that's when researchers first began to explore the possibility of creating machines that could think like humans. So during this time, AI research focused primarily on symbolic AI, which involved creating symbolic representations of knowledge and using them to solve problems. So researchers in this field developed early versions of what is now known as expert systems, which are computer programs that mimic the decision-making abilities of human experts in a specific domain. And then in the 1970s and the 1980s, AI research began to shift away from that symbolic AI and towards sub-symbolic AI, which involves using statistical methods and mathematical models to solve those problems. So this shift was driven in part by the realization that symbolic AI was too complex and it was too difficult to scale, and in part by the development of the new computer hardware that made it possible to process large amounts of data quickly. And then if we move into the 1990s and the 2000s, AI research continued to evolve and new subfields began to emerge. So one of these was machine learning, which is a term that I think we're all familiar with these days. And this focuses on creating algorithms that allow computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Another was neural networks, which are mathematical models inspired by the structure and the function of the human brain. And the idea behind this is that anything you can teach the human brain to do, you can also teach a computer to do. So recently, generative models like GPT-3 and DALL-E, variational autoencoders and generative adversarial networks, and many more have started to rise to the forefront, and they continue to advance the field of AI. So these models are able to generate new examples such as images, text, or even speech, and they're actually quite similar to the examples given to them in a data set. So generative AI models can be classified into two broad categories. So generative models and discriminative models. With the generative models, you have GPT-3, DALL-E, variational autoencoders, etc. And they learn the underlying probability distribution of a data set, and then they generate new examples from the learned distribution. Whereas something like a discriminative model, such as deep neural networks, they learn to differentiate between classes or categories, and they're generally used for tasks such as image or speech recognition. So generative AI sits on top of other areas of AI like unsupervised learning, supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. And it relies on the capability of those models to extract useful features from the data and use that for learning the underlying probability distribution of the data, which is used in generating these new examples. So what we can see essentially is that overall AI has come a really long way from its inception in the 1950s, and it continues to evolve and improve at a rapid pace today. So as many of you will know, ChatGPT has been making its headlines. And I'd like to focus a little bit on the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft, because OpenAI is a research company that aims to develop and promote health-friendly AI in a way that benefits all of humanity. The company has made significant breakthroughs in the field of AI, particularly in the areas of natural language processing and machine learning, and many of these breakthroughs have received significant attention from the media and the broader tech community, which has led to a lot of buzz around the company. And some of the most famous projects like GPT-3, DALL-E, and others, they're widely considered to be amongst some of the most advanced AI systems up to date. And I think what we've really started to learn with this new innovation is that these opportunities with AI are limitless and endless, and the only limitation we essentially have is our imagination of what we think we could be doing with it. If we could just go back a slide, please. So I just want to articulate a little bit more around the partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI, because this partnership has been formed to collaborate on the development of artificial intelligence technologies, and Microsoft actually has exclusive rights to OpenAI, which has given it that competitive advantage in the market. So as part of the partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI, having agreed to work together, there's a few areas that they are specifically focusing on. One of them being developing AI technologies. So the two companies are looking to collaborate on the development of new AI models and algorithms with a focus on natural language processing, computer vision, and other areas of AI. They're also looking to build an AI computing platform. So they're going to work together to build a new AI computing platform that will allow developers to easily access and use advanced AI models and algorithms. They are also looking to advance AI research. So they're going to collaborate on a range of research projects aimed at advancing the state of the art in AI. And they're also looking to make AI more accessible. The partnership aims to make AI more accessible to a wider range of developers and organizations in order to bring the benefits of AI to more people. And I think what's really exciting is that Microsoft has also announced that they're going to be using OpenAI's GPT-3 technology to add more capabilities to its existing products, such as Cortana, Power Virtual Agents, and even Dynamics 365. Microsoft has also heavily invested in OpenAI, which is allowing the company to use Microsoft Azure as its preferred cloud platform, and also allowing OpenAI to tap into the vast resources of Microsoft to accelerate its research. And this partnership gives OpenAI the ability to scale its models and its services on Azure and make them more widely available to customers. So overall, the partnership between the two aims to accelerate the development and the use of advanced AI technologies with a focus on making AI more accessible to developers and organizations in order to bring AI to more people. So if we move to the next slide, we should be able to see a few examples on the screen.
1 second.
Perfect, thank you. So if we have a look at the first example with GPT-3, this can be used for text completion. So you can ask the model to write you a tagline, for example, for an ice cream shop, and it will come back with a response. So in this case, it came back with the tagline, "We serve up smiles with every scoop." So this is illustrating the fact that models can understand and generate responses in natural language. Then if we move to the second example, what we can see here is Codex uses a set of models that can understand and generate code, including translating natural language into code, as you can see the prompt into the response. So this is a descendant of GPT-3 and it's been trained on both natural language and on code. And then moving to the third example where we have DALL-E, this is a set of models that can generate or manipulate images from natural language. So you can ask the model to generate an image of a white Siamese cat, and that's exactly what it's going to do.
Perfect.
So based on our work with customers on OpenAI, we find that 4 capabilities seem to stand out. Number 1 is content generation. Number 2 is summarization. Number 3 is code generation. And number 4 is semantic search. So with content generation, this has sparked a lot of interest among those who want to be able to automate responses to customers or generate personalized user interfaces for companies' websites or with recruitment firms who want to be able to generate content for bringing in their ideal applicants. With the second popular capability of AI, which has been summarization, there's also a lot of goodness here for call center analytic scenarios where companies would want to summarize conversation logs or to be able to summarize long and tedious reports, or when they've got lots and lots of analyst articles. They're also looking at social media trend, and the summarization of this is something that's really important for companies who want to know where their customers are heading towards and what industry trends are going towards. And they're looking at code generation. This has been really popular because if you want to convert, for example, your SQL to natural language or vice versa, code generation is a really, really powerful capability that can help you to convert that code as well as generate text and source code directly into your application. And then last but not least, we have semantic search. So with OpenAI, this will help quicken the time to search through documents and provide smart results. So you may have thought you'd never hear the word Bing again, but Microsoft are actually launching an all-new AI-powered Bing search engine and Edge browser, which will be available in preview now at bing.com. And essentially, this will also be delivering better search, more complete answers, and a new chat experience and the ability to generate content. These use cases are in particular to these 4 categories or capabilities of OpenAI that we're discussing here. And in addition to these, we have some examples of multiple model use cases that are very popular among our customers. So one of those is end-to-end call center analytics, which takes your process all the way from classification through to email generation. And this will increase productivity and save time and effort during call center operations. We also have Customer 360, where hyper-personalization will use more than one of the above capabilities to ensure you have a complete and holistic view of your customers and are increasing your customer satisfaction while using feedback and trends to serve them better in the future. Business process automation is like document automation, where we use capabilities across search code generation and content generation to do things faster and more efficiently. So I appreciate I've been giving you a history lesson for a little bit of time. So I'm now going to hand over to Burak to sort of bring this all to life for you.
Excellent. And Burak, let me know if you want to take control or if you want me to click forward.
I think I just want to take control first to be able to present the first slide, and I will jump to the portal very quickly. So first of all, I just wanted to explain like what makes Azure Open AI GPT so disruptive, because like these are the items that I'm going to cover like during the live demonstration as well, because like there are too many highlights in here in this slide. Like then first of all, like GPT-3 understands the semantic and provides accurate human-like answers. And you can think about like OpenAI models are built by using like various different kind of data sets available, and billions of records are just being used to build those OpenAI models for different kind of use cases to give the end users a chance to just interact with the OpenAI models with natural language. So it's just showcase like in the examples, like you can prompt anything you want in terms of the AI use case, then the output is going to be based on the text that you defined and the prompt you defined that you feed the model itself. And as an output, you will just get an output as an accurate human-like answers. And most of the use cases, like if you think about the use cases that you can run with the AI services, they don't really require any kind of training or labelings. Like think about the structured machine learning models or unstructured data labelings, like those are really time consuming, and you need to have like billions of records to be able to just create an accurate machine learning or AI model. So OpenAI is providing you like the pre-trained models, and all you need to do is like just starting using the right OpenAI model version and maybe just play with the fine-tuning options, like to be able to just get the most accurate results from the OpenAI models. The other thing that I want to mention is like you can think about like most of the companies are serving like customers like all around the world. And I think translation is another most important highlight when you start using the OpenAI. Once you start prompting your queries, or once you start just interacting with the ChatGPT or with the GPT-3 models, you can always translate the outputs or even the inputs, like to be able to just get the most accurate results from the OpenAI models. And the last part is like GPT-3. From the technical end, GPT-3 is providing you some APIs to be able to integrate them to the existing applications and services. You can think about, let's assume you have the both services already up and running, and you want to integrate some GPT-3 capabilities by utilizing the API services, and you can do this. Like you don't need to just integrate the entire OpenAI ChatGPT model, but you can just consume the APIs for various use cases. And with saying that, I want to just share my screen to be able to showcase the OpenAI service itself and how the user interaction works, like with the data examples and feature examples through the portal itself. I think.
Let me know. I'll stop presenting.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start sharing my screen. So first of all, I just want to mention, like, if you want to start just using the OpenAI service, you need to request an access to Azure OpenAI service, and there is a form that you need to fill, and you need to mention like what is the project details. I will talk about the responsible AI capabilities and just responsible AI kind of interactions with OpenAI, but these are really important to be able to just get the access. You need to mention like what are the project details, why you want to use OpenAI, and if you just since we applied responsible AI principles, our engineering committee is going to select the projects to be able to just interact with the OpenAI service itself. And as soon as you get the access for the OpenAI, there is a studio that you can just try and explore the examples for the prompt completion. So you can just use the summarized versions of the articles, like you can generate some key phrases, and you can just even apply some natural language, processing applications to convert your codes like into SQL queries. So to do this, like just quickly, I just want to explain, like you need to select the right model from the deployment section. And I'm not going to talk about the details, like we can always have a follow-up session from the technical end. But for the deployments, like you will be able to see like what are the available models. And we have DaVinci, like which is the most popular one for now, like for the natural language interactions. Like we have the Codex, if you want to convert your codes into like different coding languages, and we have the it's in preview, like it's not available for now, but we have the DALL-E as well, like to be able to just convert the text into the images, like with the end user interactions. So for the GPT-3, I just wanted to select one simple example for the OpenAI, and I just wanted to summarize the article which is already published in Microsoft websites. And if you think about like the articles sometimes are really long, sometimes are really technical. So if you want to just apply the OpenAI models to be able to summarize the article below, all you need to do is like just prompting the request on top. And here in this example, it says like just to summarize the article below. And the article itself is including a lot of OpenAI, Azure OpenAI details, like including the GPT-3 model versions, including the dates and times and etc. So, and on the right-hand side, you see some of the parameters. So I think like at the beginning, you can maybe play with the maximum length of the tokens, like for the responses. Like you can always just make it longer and shorter for the end user's benefit. And also like these tokens are going to be just calculated for the entire input and also for the output as well. Once we click on the generate button, we will see like the summarization is just working in real time, and also like it just summarizes a text above in terms of the OpenAI model that I selected. So it says like Azure OpenAI provides access to many different models grouped by family and capability, and GPT-3 family of models can understand to generate natural language and etc. So it summarized the really technical article above, and a lot of people can easily understand this summary, like if they don't have time or if they don't have the enough technical background to be able to understand the model versions and etc. So in the second example, I just want to focus on the specific OpenAI models to be able to see like what are the list of OpenAI models from the same article below. So basically all I need to do is like I need to prompt the question on top, and then afterwards I will be able to see the list of the models, available models. Let me just make it a bit bigger. Then if I generate this prompt by using the same article, then the response is going to be like just, is going to include like a GPT-3 available models from the article above. So it will just list the articles like in terms of the, GPT-3 model versions like included above the article. So the last example for the GPT, again, like as I mentioned in this slide, there is a key capability to translate the outputs into different languages. So you can again prompt the query like in terms of the language capabilities and language queries as well. And I just wanted to just prompt the selected the key embedding models capabilities from the article below, and I just wanted to translate it into French language. So if I quickly just generate the same code, then it will provide us the output in French. So I believe like this is going to be really key feature like for the customers who wants to just translate the outputs, who wants to serve the applications and services to various customers from all around the world. And the last example, which is just recently announced, like ChatGPT is in preview now. So once you get the access for the OpenAI service, you will be able to interact with the ChatGPT capabilities as well. So there are multiple scenarios that you can think about, but here in this example, I just wanted to showcase like how you can interact with the ChatGPT and what are going to be the benefits for you. So you can think about, you can put the system messages, like just as an example, and you can just, put one question and answer, like just to a bit manipulate the outputs a bit, just to customize them a bit. And from the assistant, standpoint, you can put the examples like as an answer, like coming from the chat session. So this is a text chatbot. So basically, I just need to like maybe ask some questions related to the tax payments and histories and etc. So the question that I'm gonna ask is like, can you provide my tax payment history, please? And if I just put this question, and the bot service is gonna say like, I'm sorry, like you don't have an access to your personal tax information. You need to create a request, and etc. So basically, like if I say like, I don't know, like my, let's say social security number, and it will say like, I'm sorry, like I cannot provide you this information. Please contact your Social Security Administration. So let's assume like, I don't understand this, question, this answer like properly, like since English is not my mother language. So I can say like, please provide the same answer. Provide the same answer in Turkish. So basically, like I didn't mention like which answer or anything, but it can follow the natural language flow, and it can understand like what was the last response coming from the bot, and also it translates the last answer into different languages like automatically. So you don't need to just train the models or anything like that. So this is the end of the demonstration. So I can quickly go back to the slides to just cover some of the responsible AI capabilities that we provide with Azure OpenAI, and then I will hand over to Stelios. So Stelios, could you please share your screen again?
Sure, 1 second. Seamlessly, I'm trying to do this. 1 second, please. Cool, and let me go to your slides. There we are.
Yeah. So when I was talking about the ChatGPT API capabilities, of course, one of them is providing us some natural language capabilities and just creating some queries like with codex capabilities as well. Think about like we have designed like the Power BI search engine for the end users' benefits, and they can interact with the reports and contents by asking their questions like in natural language, and Power BI is interacting with GPT-3 and provides us like the queries answers with the content available, and also it provides us the DAX queries underneath. So let's say the data set available in Power BI environment, and the end user is asking the questions about the data itself, and Power BI is just providing the right information, and also provides us the DAX queries underneath. So you can either just use the information you needed, or you can also just copy the DAX query to edit or to create your own content on Power BI. So in the next slide, could you please move to the next slide, please? So I just wanted to also mention like what are the key differences with OpenAI and Microsoft Azure OpenAI, because like this is the most common query that we are just receiving from the customers so far. If you think about like you start interacting with the OpenAI models and you just select one of them in terms of your business use cases, everything you deployed is going to be just positioned under your own Azure subscription, secured, and also accessed only by you. And once you just try to customize the models by uploading your own data sets, it's going to be tied to your data sets and to your applications as well. This is, I think, the most important benefit once you just provision the Azure OpenAI service, because it's going to be secured by Microsoft, and we will just provide you the SLA is like more than 99%, and we will provide you the service availabilities and etc. And the other important benefit using Azure OpenAI is like the enterprise-grade security with role-based access control, and also some of the private network capabilities. Like think about like the other Azure AI services are coming with the Azure Active Directory authentication labels, or just you can just create your private networks and you can position your AI services underneath. So these are going to be available for the Azure OpenAI services as well. As I just mentioned earlier, like OpenAI models are trained, like they're all pre-trained AI models and just designed for the customers to unlock new information and new scenarios. So you can either just use the OpenAI models as is, or you can just try to fine tune the models to be able to just get the maximum accuracy out of it. So you can upload your own data and you can just customize the models by playing the hyperparameter tuning options like with the OpenAI parameters. And the last but not least part is the responsible AI fundamental policies that we apply on top of OpenAI, Azure OpenAI service. And there is a built-in responsible AI fundamental kind of guidelines applied on top of Azure OpenAI. And it starts with the application form, as I mentioned before. Like once you put your OpenAI application descriptions and everything, our responsible AI engineers are going to just review the answers that you provided, and also they will just, provide you the guideline to be able to explain the project details like just a bit more if they are not sufficient enough. And there is a responsible AI documentation and guidelines. And if you're not familiar with the responsible AI kind of main pillars, like we provide you the fairness, like we provide you the responsible AI kind of transparency algorithms that we applied, and we provide you the error analysis, we provide you the modeled explanation details and everything from the responsible AI perspective to ensure like the responsible use of AI technologies, including Microsoft Azure OpenAI. And the other part of the content, the other part is like the content filtering and abuse detection built into the Azure OpenAI service. You can think about once your employees, or once you start engaging with the OpenAI service by asking questions in natural language and etc. Our content filtering algorithm is going to be up and running on top, and it will just in real time detect the interactions, like if there is any kind of sexist or racist kind of interaction with the OpenAI service, and it will just block your interaction with the service if there is anything detected by the content filtering and abuse detection engine at the back end. So next slide, please, Stelios. This is the last slide that I'm going to present. So before handing over to Stelios, I just wanted to present like where Microsoft Azure OpenAI sits under the Azure AI family. So you can just start maybe checking the chart from the bottom. You can see Azure Machine Learning just sitting at the bottom like as an ML platform. It is designed for the developers and data scientists to be able to just develop their own machine learning and AI models. And on top, like if you just follow the the other two sections, like we have the cognitive services and we have the applied AI services. And OpenAI sits alongside to the cognitive services family, and we have the vision, speech, language, and decision cognitive services already, and OpenAI is just one of them. And the highlight in here is like OpenAI, if you just bring your projects related to just AI, and if you just want to implement the OpenAI service, most 99% of the business requirements are going to be covered with the combination of these solutions. Like you can think about if you want to build an intelligent search system by just utilizing your structured and unstructured data, and Microsoft engineers are going to just design the architectures like myself, and they're going to just position some cognitive search solution plus OpenAI plus some of the other AI technologies to be able to operationalize the workflow. Or like there are some other technologies again related to OpenAI, like including form recognizer or including some vision APIs. So this is the Azure AI family, and Azure OpenAI services just is going to be like a complementary technology for the AI and machine learning requirements. So with saying that, I just want to hand over to Stelios, and many thanks for listening.
Thank you. So you have heard a lot so far from my colleagues. If we take just a moment to pause and kind of reflect, just started sharing with you the evolution of AI. AI is not even such a cool of a trend, all right? If we talk about it since 1956, now we're in the era of generative AI and how exciting this is. Hopefully by now you have a good understanding of the main pillars that this service can provide for your organization, which is content creation, code creation, image creation. Then Burak took it to life and showcased in a real-time demo what the technology can do, and also hopefully gave you some confidence that it has embedded the responsible AI principles to know that actually you're not harming the audiences and the residents that you're supposed to serve. So now what I want to do for you is make it real. How can all of these capabilities really translate on your day-to-day, no matter what your function is? And as I said, we already have active conversations with organizations within the government, but also from the commercial space. And there are 4 use cases that I wanted to share with you that we seem getting more traction. And I want to start with what the technology and the service can do around your contact center and customer support. And it's a little bit intentional why I start with that, because this is the use case that we have the highest number of projects in production. So we see several organizations across industries and sectors building on that. So the Azure Open AI service can help you greatly with optimizing your contact centers. And I know what a pain point it can be. You receive thousands, if not tens of thousands of calls every month and every year. You want to convert all of this into some sort of meaningful insights with the end goal of supporting your residents much better. So what Azure Open AI can do, it can summarize very easily for you all of these conversations that happen. And I will share an example later of how that looks like. But effectively, if you want to know why these 5,000 people are calling me, what is the sentiment, how do our agents handle it, where do we signpost them? And if you want to feed all of these insights into a Power BI or into a CRM system that you have to help you get a better 360 view of the resident, then that's definitely a service that can help you on the day-to-day. And you can go as granular as you want with your analytics and your insights. So that is one use case that I will come back a little bit later. The second one has to do with search. All of you work for organizations that you have to deal with a vast amount of documents with vast amounts of intelligence. The good part is that hey, all of that can be sources of really valuable insights. The challenging bit, talking to many councils, is that it takes you a lot of time to find exactly what you are looking for. And Jazz mentioned that before when she was referring to Bing, but at the moment, searching by using keywords, it doesn't really make the cut, because if we imagine an organization where you have thousands and thousands of documents, searching by a keyword the information that you really need, that can yield hundreds of results, and then results that you will need to go one by one to find what is relevant for you and kind of piece it all together. Oh, of course, all of that is translated into lost productivity. Sometimes we even lose the will to find what we started, what we wanted to find initially. So with that service, because as both Jazz and Burak mentioned before, because it understands the semantics, we can just ask whatever we want and understands the logic of our question, and then it comes back with results that piece together information from the different sources wherever they sit, and the results are in natural language. You don't really understand if the result was produced by the model or if the result was produced by a human being. So search becomes smart again. I want you to know that keyword search doesn't make the cut for the needs that all of you have so far. So Azure Open AI can really help you find much quicker the information that you need. For the techies out there, that I hope we have a good and mixed balance of functions on the core. The code generation, how it can translate into the local regional government, it can have several applications. We both know that skills is probably one of the biggest challenges that that we face, and also many of you have lots of legacy applications that create data silos for you. So if you want to integrate all of these apps that you might have and your stuff doesn't necessarily have the right code skills, then again, Azure Open AI can really bridge that gap for you, and it can reduce the time that you need on these integrations. But also, as my colleagues mentioned before, it can even translate natural language. You give a command in the natural language as I talk to you, and then it can translate that into code. And this is again a reminder that I want to make to all of you. Hopefully, the purpose of this call is to demystify what Azure Open AI is, in a sense that we don't need to be data scientists. All we need is some reasoning and the ability to talk and write, and then the technology and the service is making the rest for us. And the fourth use case is the document auto processing and the document intelligence. So all of you have, as I said before, lots of documents that you want to extract information, but also there are lots of systems where manually you spend lots of time inputting this information. So again, what this technology is doing better than any existing technology, because all of these problems can be served by existing technology, but Azure Open AI is taking it really to the next level. It's really good at understanding what is the intelligence of any document, extract that piece of knowledge, and then feed that back in whatever system or tooling you have. Hopefully these four sound exciting enough for you. So let's make it a little bit more real. And again, I hope nobody is mortified or scared with this very simple architecture. But I told you I'm going to come back on the contact centers and what Azure Open AI can do. You have lots of residents calling you, or lots of residents interacting with your bots, lots of residents fill out contact forms and send you emails. For the purpose of this example, let's say that someone is calling you and they have a conversation about whatever issue they might have. Hopefully, as I said, this can be valuable data for you in order to understand your residents and their needs better. So you store it in whatever storage account you might have or server, and then how you can translate that piece of interaction into meaningful insights is the first step is use very simple cognitive services to translate that speech, to translate that call into text, because that's the first step in order for us to analyze the data and get meaningful insights. And then once we convert these calls into text, then this is when on top we can apply Azure Open AI, and it can summarize for us the purpose of the calls. It can give us any insights that we want, and as I told you, as granular as we want this to be, and the command that we give it's in natural language. And then for the business users and the business people on this call, then you can feed into this, you can feed these insights into a Power BI dashboard that can summarize for you sentiment, I can summarize for you main reason for calling, can summarize for you signposting, etc. And you can feed that into your CRM system that you have around your residents to help you complete this 360 view that you have. So you start creating that intelligence about each one of them to be able to enable you to hyper-personalize the services and the assistance that you offer to them in the future. To make it all very real for you, I'm not able to do a demo as Burak did before, but what I have for you is I have a text of a conversation that took place with a contact center. So we converted that speech to text, as I told you before. And then where I want you to focus is in the middle part, the Azure Open AI instruction, because this is how all of us will interact with the service. And for the purpose of this example, I'm just asking, tell me what is the main reason of the conversation, the sentiment, how was the conversation handled by us, what was the outcome, and please give me one-line summary. And at the bottom of that page, you can see what the model comes back with. Natural language. It's like talking to a colleague, and imagine that you can do that over thousands and tens of thousands of conversations. So hopefully, as I walk you through these examples, your brains are teased and tickled about how this technology can be applied in whatever function you're doing. Pretty much the same example, but it can work in reverse. We can give the prompt to the model even from the beginning, and we can be very granular because differently to the example that I said before, I say at the bottom of the top box, I say make sure that they are answered very short. Make sure that you answer it in JSON format, so you can give it as granular instructions as you want. Give it to me in one word, translate to me in a certain language, give me my budget in dollars or in pounds. So you have complete freedom over what you can do. And here as well, probably the second use case that I want to share with you is if you spend lots of time answering queries that residents might have around what might be their council tax liabilities, etc., etc. Again, by giving very simple instructions into the model, it can create very personalized responses for the residents. So you don't have to spend time by answering tasks that can be automated. By using this technology, it can free up your time to more productive and more challenging tasks that you have on your day-to-day. Second thing is the document process automation, and effectively my hypothesis and my statement on that slide is that we can very easily extract intelligence from the documents. So we have lots of documents, and lots of documents in your organizations probably exist in a non-digitized format. So the first service that we can apply, and all these services are very simple, is the Azure Form Recognizer. Effectively, what it is doing, it cracks the document, whether the document is handwritten or it's a table or not table. It cracks the document, and then by applying cognitive services on top of that, it makes effectively the document queryable, and it provides that queryable interface. So by applying Azure Open AI on top of this two very simple, very inexpensive services, then this is when we can extract the valuable insights about entities and other valuable information that you want to get out of these documents, and again feed that back into our applications or Power BI, etc., etc. And obviously, I know again from conversations with all of you how much time you spend on redaction. So Azure Open AI can be a service that can help you massively with this task that your teams spend lots and lots of time. The use cases were appealing enough, I hope, and what I want to do with that slide as we are approaching the end of the presentation is kind of summarize what are the main benefits, for all of you. Through this service, we're talking about efficiency, productivity. We talk about helping you with your decision making by processing faster real-time data, because when we talk about sentiment analysis, for example, if you can get that insight into real time, you can probably have a flag on when a resident is super angry, super pissed off, not to mention more sensitive use cases, and then you can send them down a certain path that would be more appropriate for the specific case. So it can help you with decision making, it can help you with the customer experience to provide this hyper-personalized experience to the residents, but of course it can help you with your productivity and with your cost cost savings. So you can do more with less, especially considering the environment that we operate in. Here I have a much more extensive list, because let me borrow a sentence that Jaz said at the beginning of the call. The only limitation currently is what our imagination thinks. So here, and we're going to share the presentation with all of you afterwards, is I have a much more extensive list of conversations and use cases that can be applicable for councils, for local and regional government authorities around the 3 pillars of Azure Open AI. So in your own time, please go through that list. By no means it's exhausted, so feel free to come back to us with additional use cases, but these are some conversations that we have with many of your peers currently. And having said that, Jaz, over to you with the suggested next steps for everyone on the call, and with a big thank you. But thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Stelios. So I hope you've all found today's session super interesting and informative. And as Stelios was saying, hopefully things are ticking and you've got lots of ideas as to how you could start using this exciting technology. So if you're thinking, what can I do? How can I get started? There are 4 call to actions that we've listed on the screen. So firstly, if you'd like to learn a little bit more around Azure Open AI, you can visit that product page, which is hyperlinked into the presentation. Secondly, if you already think, do you know what, I have a use case, I know exactly how we could be using this, then please reach out to your specialist or account executive so that they can help you bring this plan to life. Thirdly, as Burak had shown earlier on, there is the request form where you can click onto that link, request access to the Azure Open AI service, and hopefully once you've been granted access, you can then have a play around. And then finally, there is a specific learning path just around Azure Open AI. So if you'd like to learn some more, please do click on that link there. So I'd just like to give a special thank you to Burak and to Stelios for presenting today, and I hope that you have all learned something new. So thank you all for your time very, very much. And yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing you using Azure Open AI.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And yes, we will speak again. Have a lovely evening and a few minutes back before your next meetings. Bye, everyone.